Let me get your point of view. And also, consider becoming a subscriber to the channel. Look, I'm not going to be on here long. I tell you I like to go live because I don't want to waste time with post production, editing, and thumbnails and all that type of stuff. And I just have some random boxing topics sometimes. And I'm hoping to start reaching out to some different individuals and maybe getting some panels on, more people, more voices to talk through some of this stuff and get, like I said, and have an exchange of ideas, thoughts, perspectives, so on and so forth. In the text world, last week I reached out to about 5 or 6 individuals. Is an elite fighter. What's up? I kind of wanted to throw two different points out there and maybe get some feedback possibly. One, I'm seeing a lot of talk at the end of the year. I saw a lot of talk about Jermell Charlo being pound for pound, middle of the pound for pound list currently. And I even saw a video out there about Jermell Charlo being the best fighter in all of boxing. And I want to talk through something on that. And then also I was just reading Breadman Stephen Edwards' column, his latest Bread's mailbag that's on Boxing Scene. And I know when we're exchanging ideas, when we're talking or adversarial or confrontational, this is not that. I'm not trying to diss Breadman Edwards. I'm not trying to diss Jermell Charlo. I'm not trying to diss people who think highly or more highly of Jermell than myself. I just got some questions and some points to make out. Okay, so getting to that. I'll get to Loma. Oh, the point about Loma is how he won round 2 in the fight against Lopez. I don't see it that way, and I'll get to that in a second. But Jermell Charlo might even be an excellent fighter. I think he's putting together an excellent body of work. But the thing is, for me to put him in the middle of my my current pound for pound list, I would struggle with that for this reason. I know he looked great against Jason Rosario. I don't know how much I really value Jason Rosario as a unified champion based on the manner that he won it. I just mentioned Breadman Edwards, who used to be the trainer of J-Rock. That's who Jason Rosario knocked out to become unified champion. But Jason Rosario wasn't this world beater prior to that fight. Secondly, after the fight with J-Rock, Breadman Edwards and Julian Williams parted ways. Something went on in that training camp that Breadman Edwards, if you know him, something happened in that camp that he wasn't happy with, that he chose not to continue working with a guy who he had a great relationship with. So I take nothing away from Unified Champion. He's just a guy, in my opinion. But Jermell gets him out of there relatively easily, beats him up, looks great. But I'm going back to the Tony Harris pound for pound and how elite you are right now. I thought that there was concern. I didn't say panic. I didn't say he was clueless. I thought there was concern growing in the Jermell Charlo corner that the same thing could happen with him losing another decision to Tony Harrison based on the beginnings of that fight. Now I know he had the early knockdown maybe set in round 2 or something, and he stops Tony Harrison. I get all that. But I'm just saying, I feel like it was at least give and take throughout the fight. And I feel like Tony Harrison really had control of that fight and just needed to finish on his feet and probably would have got at least a split decision. The one thing that separates, and this is in Charlo's favor, the one thing that separated Jermell Charlo was that he didn't quit. He wasn't ready to accept a second loss to a guy who he just talked shit to for 2 or 3 months and getting the rematch And he didn't want this particular fighter to be better than him. He didn't want this dude to have 2 victories against him. So he never quit in that particular fight. I think he was outboxed, and Harrison was the better all-around boxer. He was boxing him inside. He was outboxing him at inside, outside, and was doing a lot of stuff that really, just like I said, he had tactical control of that fight. The only thing was Jermell Charlo was like, I can't exit this ring with a loss. I can't. And so he went out and stopped the man. So I give him a lot of credit for that. It's a lot for will, determination, grit, resilience. And then one thing that I'll talk about a lot is he figured it out. So I get that he's a very good fighter and one of the best fighters doing it right now. But if he didn't go for it, and that's what we didn't see against Luke Campbell. That's the difference in a Luke Campbell. He didn't go for it, and I was pissed at his performance. He didn't really go for it against Garcia. So like I said, I'm not here really trying to tear Jermell Charlo down and diminish what he is in any kind of way. I think he's one of the better fighters out there right now. The only question that comes from me on the backside of these 2 great victories against Tony Harrison and Jason Rosario, what does the PBC do next for him? If Teixeira beats Castaño in this fight that they have coming up, does the PBC go all in on trying to get him the undisputed fight? Obviously, if Castaño wins and brings the WBO junior middleweight title back to the PBC, I'm sure that fight gets announced in 2 weeks, or a month or whatever. But I just think for me, I need to see a little bit more before I'm all he's number 5 pound for pound or something. I'm not knocking him. I'm not, like I said, I'm not taking him down a peg because he has the loss to Tony Harrison, because he's lost once already. He's a really, really good fighter. I know that he trains hard, always in shape. A true professional in every sense of the word. I mean, I know there's a little abrasiveness there with the media and whatnot, and so on and so forth, but I can put all that aside. Jermell Charlo is an excellent fighter and a guy who I like to see. I just don't know what's next for him. Obviously, Sebastian Fundora is not ready to face him. Showtime, for whatever reason or another, they recognize that with Charles Conwell, that's not a super welterweight that we can rush in here and put against him. He's just in an interesting situation where he's the last man standing, and it's hard to check all the boxes for him. Another thing is, you got to take into consideration, there was the big time fight out there that was between him and Jarrett Hurd that probably could have put him firmly in the middle or the top portion of the pound for pound discussion. But injuries delayed that, scheduling delayed that, and then Jarrett Hurd goes and gets beat. And so we didn't get that fight that seemed to have the magnitude that after such a fight, you can't debate what a fighter is or isn't. So that's just a talk on Jermell Charlo. Again, that's not me sitting here and saying he's trash, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying when you look at all of the details there, I'm kind of stuck where to put him. That's just my 2 cents. Getting to this Loma situation, Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, this round 2. I actually did a video. I watched round 2 maybe 3 or 4 times trying to pick my winner, who won that round. Again, this is a discussion. This is my interest in being able to talk about boxing a lot better, to understand what I'm watching, to try to dig into the sweet science a little bit more. And this isn't me trying to tell you what I know. My opinion, it can't be questioned. This isn't that. I'm not sitting here all upset and blah, blah, blah. This is just an exchange of ideas. I didn't see Lomachenko winning that round. And so I've been reading Breadman's mailbag for about, the last couple of months. He's actually spoken specifically on this round 2. And I'm interested because he continues to give that round to Lomachenko. Andre Ward, another guy. I can't question the boxing knowledge of either one of those guys. I'm not even gonna sit here and try to say them two don't know what they're talking about. This isn't that. I'm just wondering, how could these two guys, whose opinion and perspective on boxing I respect immensely, how did they see it that way and I didn't? Like, am I seeing something wrong? But we know that boxing is very subjective. So, so what I get here though with Breadman, which makes me have my question, in this recent article, he just watched the fight again for this person that sent him a question, that emailed him a question. So he sat and watched the fight again to score it again. He still comes up with 7-5 in favor of Lopez. But what he says is, when he gets to round two, all he says is that Lomachenko had two great sequences. One of those sequences came right before the bell. What's good, Finkley? One of those sequences came right before the bell. My issue with looking at round two is Lomachenko did not throw a punch for the first 90 seconds of the round. He did not throw a punch. The other thing that Breadman says is in round five, he gives round five to Lopez, and he says it's because of, all he says is because of Lopez's ring generalship. Okay, so why wasn't his ring generalship enough to win the second round? It's got to be things that he was doing to Lomachenko where Lomachenko didn't throw a single punch for 90 seconds. So that's what's not really adding up for me. If I was talking with Breadman, how do you ignore the fact that the man didn't throw a punch for 90 seconds? It might have even been a little longer than 90 seconds. And then after that, over the second half of the round, he really only has those two sequences. And I think if you look at the CompuBox, I don't know how you value CompuBox or how you ignore CompuBox, but I want to say that I want to say it's like 11-6 or something is the landed punches that they credited Lopez and Lomachenko for. But I don't see how you can get that round to Lomachenko. I mean, to Lomachenko. And I'm wondering, I know when I was watching Mikey Garcia and Adrian Broner, a little bit of a different situation. I get to round 4 and 5, and I'm quickly giving these rounds to Mikey Garcia, and I start asking myself, like, damn, I didn't expect it. I picked Garcia to win that fight, but I didn't see him winning the first 4 or 5 rounds with no problem. It's some rounds you watch play out, and I got to think about it. Let me weigh a couple of things. I'm writing down Garcia immediately before they even sit down on the stool. So we get to round 5 and 6, and any little thing that Adrian Broner does, I'm kind of holding on to that to the end of the round to see if I can give him a round, because I feel like I shouldn't be giving Garcia 5 and 6 straight rounds against Adrian Broner, who I know is a pretty talented fighter. We all know his work rate is an issue, not letting his. I know all of that. But again, I'm just wondering if when fighters don't do what we expect them to do, or they're not doing what we expect them to do you kind of fight with yourself on how you score stuff? And so I don't know. I got Breadman's number and whatnot. Actually, I could email him or something. I hate wasting my time trying to get people's time when you want to hold such discussions. That fight wasn't even close as Jermell versus Harrison first fight. Loma had a big lead, and I had Loma winning 3 rounds second half of the fight. Yeah, but are those two different things, Ron? I'm not comparing those two fights to one another. My Jermell Charlo discussion was completely separate from anything with Lomachenko Lopez. If you go back to the opening of the video, I laid out what I was discussing with that. But anyway, I'm getting ready to get off of here. Oh, okay, yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I'll back up because you might have came in a little late. I've been sitting here watching, reading Breadman's mailbag, and he repeatedly gives Lomachenko round 2. And I just don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know. And it's subjective, and that's why when we get into these arguments about who scored, how you scored a fight, who won what round, if a guy lands 4 jabs and fighter B lands 1 power punch and rocks that dude, the fighter A, I mean, do you just give fighter B the round? Or I like it, and I'm just saying, however you mix it up, between power shots and jabs versus the other fighters' mix of punches, it just gets interesting to me. So I might do that though. I might reach out to Breadman and see if I can get him for 30 minutes or something. I've talked to him a couple of times, but again, with Andre Ward and Breadman both giving Lomachenko round 2, I'm just like, how? And just as a boxing fan, I'm like, now I'm not so confident to talk about what I'm trying to talk about, because did I miss something? And like I said, I watched round 2 3 or 4 times. I watched it on fight night, and then before I made the video, I watched it another 2 or 3 times. And I'm just like, I do not see. I'm gonna work on that. Finkley. So that's what I'm saying. Again, man, this isn't really to sit here and say you don't know what the hell you talking about, or you don't know shit about boxing. This really wasn't that type of discussion. It's more or less trying to get some input from other people. I don't live in a city with a healthy box. I can't just go to the local boxing gym and find a good coach or somebody that I know that's knowledgeable about boxing. So I come on here, and a lot of what I talk about with boxing is not to tell you what you should believe or what you should think or you should agree with me. Some of this stuff I'm just talking. I'm just trying to create discussion. So let me know though. If you think Jermell Charlo is a number 4, number 5, 4 through 7 pound for pound guy right now, I like to hear why. And not to disagree with you, but what's your logic about? What's your reasoning about? That's what I'm looking for. If you saw Lomachenko winning round 2, I might be tempted to tell you don't know what. Nah, I'm just playing. I don't see it. Anyway, man, enjoy your Saturday. We don't have any boxing tonight that I'm aware of. What Super Wild Card Weekend, I believe, is what the NFL is looking at it. I got my Washington football team coming on later tonight against Tampa Bay, and I'm going with the upset with Chase Young chasing down Tom Brady to go, and we win by like 3 points. If okay, I can respect that, Finkley. I mean, like I said, I laid out some reasons why for me, Charlo might be, I don't know, man. For me, he might be 11. He might be 12. Again, to see you, I wouldn't, dominated is a strong word. I wouldn't say that Harrison dominated him in the rematch, but I really feel like Harrison outboxed him and had him searching for answers and searching for solutions to what Harrison was doing. That's just my opinion. But like I said before I ended it, I got to give him all the credit in the world for figuring it out and for going for it. A lot of fighters don't flat out go for it. He forced, with effort, will, determination, grit, aggression, emotion, energy, he forced that knockout onto Harrison and got him out of there. So I'm not trying to knock him. I'm just I find it hard to credit I find it hard to credit fighters with being truly at the top of the elite when you lose, when you clearly have lost control of a fight, when a dude has gotten the better of you. I wouldn't say that his situation was truly a Hail Mary, how he pulled out the victory, but he made it happen. I can't take that away from you. I hope Harrison stays relevant. I would like to see him still in the mix. Him and Charlo had great memories for me to watch. Yeah, I'm going to reach out to Harrison too, man. I know Harrison came out after the fact and said the water bottle situation, you can make out of that what you want to with Derek James not touching the water bottle. When later in the fight, the individual that was outside of the ring was giving Jermell water from a sports bottle, no longer from one of these. when earlier in the fight, I think Derrick James was giving him water from one of these. That's you do what you want with that. I don't know, but I know Harrison brought that up. But I do think Harrison is definitely a guy who's earned a chance to be back in the mix. And that was another thing I didn't mention. We know Harrison was a cat that faded in the final third of the rounds. Anything after round 8, he was a little sketchy. I think that was another thing that made helped Jermell Charlo not give up on stopping him and not believing that a stoppage was possible. I've seen it happen before. Like he's telling himself, I've seen it happen before. I know I can get it done. I just gotta figure out the way to force it. Between these divisions, it's a catch-22. You never know which weight class might start the first quarter off right. Definitely. Anyway, like I said, I got an appointment. I got to get out of here. I might be back on later on for something else. Appreciate y'all checking in with me. Appreciate those couple of likes. Like I said, man, this was just a boxing discussion. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just to get input, what your thoughts were. So Finkley, appreciate you weighing in on it. I don't disagree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, I don't know about that first fight myself. And I didn't watch it live. I was actually at a fight in Columbus that night, covering a fight that was here in Ohio. So I didn't watch it real time, but it was kind of crazy when those of us ringside started talking about it. Appreciate it, Mr. K. Appreciate it. Like I said, I'm just trying to talk boxing, man. It ain't about like again, I'm not trying to get all of y'all to pat me on the back and say you really know your shit. You know what? That's not what this is about. Anyway, I gotta go. I really do. Peace. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe and all of that. And like I always say, man, bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Peace.